Zombie ideas in leadership are ideas or practices that, despite being proven ineffective or outdated by rigorous research and strong evidence, continue to persist and remain popular. They are dead ideas that are still walking among us and refuse to die. Zombie ideas in leadership are often deeply ingrained in organizational culture or individual beliefs, making them resistant to change and innovation. Starting this video, I'll introduce a set of zombie ideas in leadership. If you are a researcher in the field of management, administration, and leadership, reflect on your own research. Does your research perpetuate those zombie ideas? Please consider updating your research approach to leadership and how to use your research to challenge zombie ideas and advance the field. If you are a manager, administrator, or leader, take this opportunity to identify any zombie ideas you may be holding on to and explore strategies for updating your leadership practices. Together, we can prevent a zombie apocalypse in leadership. Today, I focus on the zombie idea in leadership. Number 1, leaders are saviors. This is a prevalent zombie idea in leadership and management. It's the belief that a single heroic leader can swoop in and rescue an organization from the brink, single-handedly solving every problem with their unparalleled will, expertise, and charisma. But just how widespread is this zombie idea? Well, you can see this zombie idea everywhere in organizations, media headlines, and blockbuster movies. When we step into many organizations, the visual cues underscore a deeply entrenched narrative, the lionization of the individual leaders over the collective. The walls are often adorned with portraits of past leaders positioned as the lone architects of the organization's achievement, rather than celebrating the teamwork and the celebration that truly drive organizational success. This imagery reinforces the zombie idea of the singular hero in leadership. And then there is the glaring pay gap. Leaders are compensated far beyond their subordinates, further entrenching the zombie idea of their unparalleled importance. This not only highlights a perceived hierarchy of importance, but also subtly communicates the idea that the leader's contributions are exponentially more valuable than those of the entire team put together. This leaders are saviors zombie idea permeates organizational culture in more subtle ways too, such as through newsletter and other forms of communication. For example, an organization has an employee appreciation day. Rather than showcasing the stories of employees at all levels or the collective achievements of teams, the top leaders' corner office sends out all sorts of communications that spotlight the top leaders, featuring grandiose photos and quotes that offer lip service to appreciation. Rarely do we see leaders going undercover boss style, immersing themselves in the frontline work, spending time with them, and experiencing the challenges frontline employees face on a daily basis. The media is a powerful force that reinforces the zombie idea that individual leaders are the linchpins of success, especially during times of crisis. It's not uncommon for news headlines to celebrate the decisive action of the leaders, attributing the success or revival of organizations and even nations to their singular vision and the so-called leadership skills. This narrative often overshadows the key contributions of collective efforts. For example, the media coverage of President Franklin D. Roosevelt during the Great Depression of the 1930s was awash with stories praising FDR's bold initiatives, heralding his courage and wisdom as the catalyst for America's recovery. Those narratives painted a picture of a singular hero at the helm, navigating the nation through turbulent waters. However, the narratives glossed over the intricate tapestry of collective action that played a key role behind the scenes. It was not just FDR's decision that made the difference. It was also the resilience and support of citizens, grassroots groups, and churches that provide a lifeline to struggle families across the country. The president's policies and actions were, in truth, informed and shaped by a broader spectrum of collective efforts. By focusing solely on the figure of the president, the media's portrayal inadvertently minimized the significance of community solidarity and the contributions of numerous unnamed individuals who also were instrumental in the nation's recovery. It's a stark reminder of the importance of recognizing and valuing the collective effort and collaboration that often form the foundation of major successes attributed to individual leaders. Similarly, an organization faces a financial crisis. The CEO takes decisive action by cutting costs, laying off employees, and structuring the organization. News headlines focus on the CEO's bold moves, praising their leadership and strategic vision. The CEO becomes a hero figure credited with saving the organization. The reality is that behind the scenes, different teams collaborated, employees sacrificed, and middle managers executed tough decisions. It was the collective effort that contributed to the organization's survival, but the real heroes never made it into headlines. Blockbuster movies further cement the leader as a savior zombie idea, offering dramatized, simplified stories of individual heroism that captivate audiences worldwide. The movie The Social Network portrays Mark Zuckerberg as the singular genius behind Facebook. The movie Jobs does the same for Steve Jobs and Apple. Independence Day presents a world united against an alien threat, yet it disproportionately highlights the actions of a few key individuals. The President, Thomas Whitmore, coordinates the global response to the alien threat and delivers a rallying speech before the final battle. A brilliant scientist, Dr. David Levison, deciphers the aliens' communication and devises a plan to defeat them using a computer virus. This narrative suggests that without those key figures, victory would have been impossible, marginalizing the global collective effort required to face such a challenge. Oh, don't get me started on Marvel's superhero movies. Characters like Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor are often portrayed as singular forces of change. Sure, every now and then there is a tip of the hat to the importance of teamwork and forming alliances, but the overarching narrative frequently celebrates individual prowess as the linchpin of success. The leader as a savior zombie idea romanticizes leadership to an unrealistic degree, placing an undue burden on the individual while glossing over the complexity of organizational challenges and the collective action required to address them. So, why is this a zombie idea? It goes against the definition of leadership. What is leadership? It's a process to motivate a group of individuals to work towards achieving a collective goal. At its core, leadership is a collective process. It emphasizes teamwork and the collective efforts of a group rather than the achievements of an individual. The zombie idea of leaders as a savior distorts the essence of leadership by isolating leader as the sole agent of change, shining in the spotlight. Meanwhile, followers and those who implement leaders' decisions remain in the dark. The tale of individual triumph wrongly suggests that finding the right leader can single-handedly rescue an organization. This zombie idea of leadership is particularly appealing to those in positions of power because it positions them as irreplaceable heroes at the helm of organizational success. This zombie idea effectively elevates their perceived value, suggesting that their distinct talents, insights, experience, skills, and decisions are the key elements that steer the organization towards a triumph. CEOs, school district superintendents, school principals, university presidents, and a suite of administrators are often celebrated as visionary leaders whose individual strategies and bold decision making rescued organizations from the brink of failure and charted a course to unprecedented growth. By promoting those narratives, this zombie idea perpetuates a simplified view of leadership, wherein the success or failure of an entire organization hinges on the prowess of one individual. This not only reinforces the authority and status of those at the top, making them seem indispensable, but also conveniently aligns with their personal interests. It creates a halo effect around those leaders, reinforcing their influence and control over organizational direction and resources. The reinforcement of this zombie idea in organizational culture and through media coverage helps cement the position of powerful individuals, ensuring their continued dominance and the deference of their followers. Moreover, this narrative serves as a self-fulfilling prophecy, where the organizational structure and decision-making processes are often designed to centralize power with the leader, further reinforcing their status as the quintessential savior. This centralization of power not only limits the potential for more distributed and participative administrative decision-making, but also stifles innovation and engagement among other members of the organization, who may feel their contributions are undervalued or overlooked by the looming presence of the leader as savior zombies. Now, I encourage you to keep your eyes open and share examples of this zombie idea you come across. By staying alert and informed, we can join forces to put an end to the zombie idea of leaders as saviors.